Hi everyone, I'm Edoardo Zannoni. I'm the Vice President of the International Geosynthetics Society. We are today for a two for a few with our colleagues of ours in the mining industry. Michel Julien is the Vice President for Environmental and Critical Infrastructure for Agnico Eagle Mines. Julien, Michel?
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for your time. Would you just say a few words of what you do for Agnico?
I've been with Agnico since 2011, and before that, I've been in the consulting business for 20 years, okay, with a firm that was called Golder Associates. And I've been involved in the mine waste management and water management all my career. So when I joined Agnico, I took over this role for the corporation to make sure our mine waste, our tailings, our waste rock storage facilities, e-leach, and water management system and infrastructure are managed properly. So this is kind of my scope within the organization. I do other stuff, but yeah. I would say my primary scope is that.
Yeah, that's when we talk about, you mentioned environmental, and we know in the mining space it's very high as profit, environmental, social, and government. In your experience, how do you see geosynthetics contributing to both causes, and what was your experience of using geosynthetics to achieve that?
Yeah. First of all, if I talk for our company, our vision is to establish ourselves and develop mining operation. When we go into a region, it's for the long run. Okay, it's not just one operation and then we go. It's to stay there for a lot of years. Okay, and for example, in northern Quebec, we've been there for several generations. So, in order to achieve that, you need to perform to a level where you'll have this social acceptance from the community. So I think there's a very intimate link between financial performance and your social acceptability. The two go together. And geosynthetics are a tool that is available to help us out to achieve our environmental obligation. We use them at several other types of application, but for us it's instrumental in order to meet these obligations we have with respect to the protection of the environment.
You mentioned about performance, you mentioned in the long run. Do you see geosynthetics helping Agnico in meeting those targets, and have you developed policies or strategy or regulation in the use of geosynthetic? You mentioned mine waste, tailings. What's your experience of using geosynthetic in the broader picture?
Yeah, well, I would say geosynthetics is more a tool in our toolbox to achieve our objective. If I give the example of Nunavut, okay, in northern Canada, okay, in the Arctic, geosynthetics are basically needed, okay, because if we didn't have geosynthetics, we could not construct some of these facilities we have up there. So it's a necessity, okay, for us to have these materials. In other jurisdiction, it's other aspect that they will contribute, okay. But basically, it's a tool that is available that will allow us to meet our obligation and also to be cost effective, to meet our schedule objective, and it's part of these different materials that we can access to help us out in our work.
Again, coming from you say to help us to meet the objectives and to the environmental sustainability. We know that the sustainability is part of IGS. And if we unpack sustainability, especially for a mine, you talk a lot, or you engage a lot with designers, suppliers, contractors.
Yeah.
How do you see that engagement in geosynthetic? Is it, you mentioned a toolbox. How do you see that toolbox as our owners?
I think, like, I've been in this business for a long time, and our philosophy is that we treat our designers and our suppliers as partners, okay? And if we can work together, collaborate, we're convinced we'll get the best solution. So for us, it's very important to develop this environment where people feel they're supported, they have the tools to do the proper analysis, proper studies, and this applies for the designers and the suppliers. And if we can get these two groups to work well together with us, I think we have the first ingredient for a successful project.
Yeah, and on that, when we talk about the ingredient and the relationship, how do you see the requirements in your operation, and how geosynthetic meets those high pressure environment of mining? Mining is a 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year operation. In terms of resiliency, in terms of sustainability, in raising the bar on and the engineering perspective applied to mining.
There's a lot of areas where they can contribute, but I would say one of the primary area is water protection. Okay, and water is one of the prime interface, okay, with regulators, with communities, with our different stakeholders, the right owners. So the protection of the water, either surface or groundwater, is key. Okay, so we may have these big operations that produce tons and tons of material, of ore that is processed, but we need to make sure water is protected at all time. Okay, or like we do our best to do it. And it's not an easy task, okay? I tell you, it's not an easy task. And geosynthetics are, like I was saying earlier, a key tool in helping us out in protecting the water, either by containing the water that is not really ready to be released, or by protecting groundwater like aquifers or surface water. So I would say this is one area where geosynthetics are very important. Yeah. Okay?
And if I look at the overall picture of geosynthetics, so many products, so many functions, so many applications, how are those applying in the mining world? Yeah. What's your experience of using geosynthetics throughout the entire mining operation or mining cycle?
I think this is where we have to get better collectively. There's been maybe a push over the year to promote some products that may not have been perfect for certain application. We need to be more critical as an industry, and I'm talking about like the consultant, the designer, the supplier, and the mining companies, to be careful in selecting the best product for a certain application. And this is why this collaboration is very important. Because, I always say the same thing. The first decision is the most important. So you select a product, okay, and you have to live with it. And these facilities we're building, they have long life. And so it's important to make the right selection of product, to have a good design that is robust, and that's going to be sustainable for a long time.
To look at the geosynthetics is complicated. It's water preservation, containment, reinforcement. Do you see it as a client, as a holistic in the holistic picture, do you see the geosynthetic message clear or across designer, contractor, supplier, and at the end client?
I don't see a clear message. I think often it becomes almost like naturally, like geosynthetics become part of the equation because either it's the best option or the only option we have. So I don't see this as it's part of the thinking or the planning process, and it comes naturally. So I don't see a clear message from the industry, but from the industry side, we're well aware of what's out there in terms of product, okay, and also there's a good feel of what are the key suppliers to, okay. So in a certain region, obviously.
You mentioned region, and I know Agnico is not just in Canada. You are a worldwide mining company. Do you see differences across your different operations and how geosynthetics are used?
Yeah, I would say one thing that has occurred, okay, actually we have operation in Mexico, in Canada, in 3 jurisdictions, Quebec, Ontario, and Nunavut, and Finland and Australia. So very diverse environment. But what we see in the company, and I think we see it throughout the industry, is a convergence, okay? Irrespective of the jurisdiction, there's convergence in the practice. Some region may be a bit trailing, but given the importance of the environmental protection and how we're scrutinized by different groups, okay, and also by our investors as well, there's definitely a convergence in the way we do things throughout the world, and you can see it throughout all the big organizations. So I think it may surprise people because they may expect different standards, but I would say standards are converging everywhere.
All right. That's maybe some of the results of IGS, the message that is converging to the client. And what suggestion do you have to the geosynthetic community, to the designers, the suppliers, the entire chain of geosynthetics, you as the user?
Yeah, I think they need to be more pragmatic on the expectation, okay, or realistic on the expectation. Like these are product, these are man-made product. They're not perfect. They have strengths and weaknesses, and these need to be put on the table. And so there has to be a clear messaging on what these products can deliver at the end of the day. And also for the designer, I think it's important for the designer to really improve their knowledge on how these materials will interact with the surrounding soil, for example, or other materials. So I think there's a bit of work that needs to be done on that front, on understanding the physical characteristics, the chemical characteristics of these materials, and how they can perform with other materials. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of work to be done by these different groups, and also the owner, they should be looking at these products not solely on a cost basis, okay? They should be ready to spend a bit more, put more money up front for this product in order to achieve or to obtain a better product, and that will be more robust, more resilient. So everybody has to do something, okay?
My last question, and where do you see geosynthetic in mining in the long run?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear to me that geosynthetic will continue to have an ever-growing importance in this industry. It's a very attractive solution in many cases, very competitive in terms of cost, but in other cases, it's the only solution we have, okay? So we're going more and more as an industry in a remote area that are characterized by significant challenge in terms of the climate, access. So these products are very well suited for some of these operations.
Michel, thank you for your time. It was really good.
It's a pleasure.
Spending some time with you, and all the best on using Geosynthetics in all your mines.
Yeah, I mean, no worries. We'll make a lot of use of it.
Thank you.